tell him not today. Oh, not today.
Hey, welcome back to the Inspiring Wit TV channel. My name is Jenelle. I usually talk about fashion, beauty, a bit of lifestyle stuff. I'm currently 26 weeks pregnant. So at the moment, some of my fashion conversations are a little bit more limited purely because I don't fit half of my clothes. And I'm trying my best to sort of still maintain my fashion and style identity while I'm pregnant, but obviously that does get compromised somewhat. So what I thought I would do today in a fun video was go back through some of my old blog posts. I've been blogging and sharing my fashion style stuff online since 2010, so like 14 years, and I thought it'd be really fun to look back at some of those old outfits and either rate or roast them, because there's probably some shockers in here, and then there's some that I'm like, I'm curious to see if I would actually wear this again. So I thought it'd be a bit of fun. Let's dive right in, because I pulled so many pictures from the blog over the last more than a decade. So there's a lot. This might end up being part 1 and part 2, but we're going to delve right back to the start and see what I was wearing and see what do we think? Okay, so the first look I have is a phase that I was going through. There's a few things here. The first one, I'm wearing a bowler hat for one, and this bowler hat was this vintage find that I just stumbled across at an op shop. At the time, I was still like mixing vintage pieces with new things, and I guess that's kind of been my whole journey through fashion for more than a decade. I guess I've been like finding vintage pieces, like affordable but good quality high-end like pieces, high street pieces, and then Australian designer or international designer pieces, and like blending them all together to create these looks. But the bowler hat was like a moment. I think for maybe a year, I really leaned into wearing this. And it was because like at the time I was working in the arts industry. I was still sort of like wanting to sort of be a bit quirky in an artistic kind of way, and yet still loved fashion. And I was spending, a lot of money on the Australian fashion industry too. So this is a full mix. I have a vintage handbag and the vintage bowler hat, which no, I don't have anymore and I would not wear anymore. I was wearing like leggings as tights, leggings as pants. I think actually I still wear activewear leggings now. These were like from Witchery, I think, so they weren't like activewear clothing. And then I had like this peplum kind of shirt here, which is actually very cool. You can't quite tell, but it's got like a black top bit, and then the bottom part was this silk white and black print with bugs and like I think it was beetles or ants or something like that. It was by Alice McCall, who sadly has closed her business down. But for so many years, I wore so much Alice McCall. I loved her. She was one of my favorite Australian designers. And this piece was just really special. I loved it. Not that I remember wearing it very often. And then I've got a blazer over the top of that. And the shoes. The shoes are like, I went through this phase of like platform shoes were really popular. And these are like a platform ankle boot with straps. It kind of reminds me of what's her name from Schitt's Creek a little bit, Alexis. Kind of got that Alexis, that boho vibe, going to a bit artistic. I even have a silver ring on that was like my signature ring, and it's like a horseshoe. It's quite chunky too. Anyway, I like this outfit, and it's shot in this beautiful garden. My brother shot this for me. We drove around the Adelaide Hills, and this beautiful garden I think is actually still there. But anyway, I mean, I obviously wouldn't wear this, so this is kind of this is a no for me, but it was a moment at the time, and I like that I was, going through this weird bowler hat phase. Okay, another one from the same, probably shoot day. I'm wearing a bright blue vintage skirt, which was silk, and it was like the most beautiful silk. I had this real thing for wearing like chunky waist belts for years, and then like a plain tee, or I would wear them like the belts I would wear with a knit dress. So here I'm wearing it with a plain tee, and I think if I'd stopped there, it would have been okay. But I guess like color blocking might have been in at the time as well. So I'm also wearing this bright pink beanie, knitted beanie, which I guess brought in like an artistic alternative kind of element to it. Oh, I actually think I'd like this if I could just take the beanie away. But you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. It's in the past. And then my shoes were again like a kind of wedge platform shoe, which was another Australian designer, but I can't remember who it was now, Yoshan Bay or something. Yeah, so this was again another like mix of witchery t-shirt, vintage skirt and belt. I have no idea, sports girl or something, beanie, and then these Yoshan Bay heels. That's a real vibe. Okay, so still on the platform boot thing. This next look, I'm wearing this amazing blazer from Subi, which I still have, and so many people have messaged me over the years asking me if I ever want to sell this, that they are keen on this jacket, and I just can't bring myself to sell it because I really love it. I think it's a really, really cool piece. So it's kind of this khaki green, and then you've got this tartan red print, and then it's got this zip off panel of blue, and then on the sleeves it's got like a leopard print, but it's made of that like horsehair fabric, which probably isn't great, but I love it. It's super fitted. It's one where like when I'm driving I can't like move my arms, so I have to take it off if I'm driving because I'm like like a T-Rex. But I love this jacket. It's amazing, and it's a piece that I guess is like vintage in my wardrobe now from 10 or 15 years ago. Now, again, if I had have stopped there, black skinny jeans were obviously a thing. I have an oversized t-shirt underneath. I still have these Ray-Bans. I just need to fix them. They're just a classic Wayfarer pair. The black scarf was clearly just because it was cold. It was a cold morning in Perth and I needed something. I have a big black oversized leather tote bag. So I think that was all very cool. I could have removed the scarf and I think this look would have been better just to take the pictures. And then we have the boots, which were such a moment at the time. They're Jeffrey Campbell brown leather boots. And actually they're pretty cool, but they like those super chunky platforms. And yeah, I don't feel like I ever wore those very much. So this was probably just me being like, okay, I'm traveling to Perth. I'm going to pack like the cool stuff in my wardrobe and have like a fun curation while I'm there. And yeah, again, messy sort of hair was really my vibe. I would wash my hair, go to bed with it wet, and it kind of went in its natural waves, which I probably should do again because it always looked cool. But nowadays I'm like, the hygiene of going to bed with wet hair, I can't do it. But yeah, again, my hair color and stuff hasn't changed too much. I used to get highlights and then like let them like dye them brown over the top of that and like let them fade out, which I quite like. That's kind of like ombre, but not in an extreme way. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate this one again, so I'm on the fence. All right, another one. When I started working with one of my friends who was also a blogger at the time, he had like professional camera gear, and this was one of the first times I actually shot with professional camera gear as opposed to just like a little point and shoot, kind of the equivalent of the Canon like the vlogging camera that everybody uses, the little tiny one. I have that as well, but this was kind of the equivalent of that, which I was shooting with for the first year or two. Then I started working with my friend whose name was Colonel Mustard online, Ben, and he shot some beautiful photos for me. This dress is from Gorman. It's a fitted stretch dress with the stripe pattern in different directions, got a full skirt. I loved it. I kind of am sad that I sold it because I think if I fit it, I would wear it again. Now I really loved it. Yeah, and I'm wearing it with some white leather ASOS shoes, like heels. They look alright too. I actually really like this outfit. The only thing was there's this long chain from this designer. I can't remember who it was at the time, but then it's like I've got a crystal apple on the end of the chain. But yeah, the crystal apple was like a thing. I don't know. I think I just wanted to wear like long chains and break up my outfits a bit and have something a bit quirky thrown in there. So that was what that was all about. This dress is actually also worn by Taylor Swift, and it pops up every now and again as reminders that like I wore it and Taylor Swift wore it probably around the same time, and she looked amazing in it too. It was an amazing dress. I've not seen Gorman do anything this cool again. And again, this is another shoot, the next outfit that I did with Ben on that same day. So I'm still wearing the crystal apple necklace. I got these Gorman boots, probably had just been shopping at Gorman, so that's what I was shooting this for. The boots, I did not wear them probably for more than twice after this because I was like, they're a bit much. They've got this round toe. They were just embroidered, rainbow, bright, colourful boots. They were like really good quality and all, but no, that's just a no from me, the boots. They lose me there. It's just too much. It's fun and cool, but no. And then I was wearing a Cheap Mondays pair of jeans, which I never actually got altered. So you can see at the bottom there's so much extra fabric because they're obviously designed for someone much taller. I'm only 163 centimeters tall, and I often have to have pants taken up. And I never actually did, and I wore these to death. They were my favorite skinny jeans in this like charcoal wash. I loved them. I wore them for years. They were so good to me. Again, the same black t-shirt. And then I've got a vintage jacket that was like a vintage silk light jacket over the top, which I actually think is pretty cool. I didn't keep that, but I like the graphicness of it, and the stripe is quite cool. And again, the classic Wayfarers, that kind of stuff brings it down into being a bit more classic. It's the apple and the boots, and obviously skinny jeans are no longer a vibe. But yeah, I think didn't really love this look. Then we have fall color, and I only have one picture of this, but I went to a fashion event here in Perth for Fashion Week, and David Downton, the fashion illustrator who's created all these beautiful pieces for Vogue and things, he was here doing an exhibition, and I was just honored to meet him because I'd been working as a costume designer for years by that point, and his illustrations and watercolors were so inspirational to me for when I was doing my costume designs. And obviously just a huge fan of fashion illustration myself. I was so excited to meet him, and I knew he would be quite fun and quirky, so I wanted to really go all out, and like you can see, I wanted to be a statement and memorable with my outfit. So I have orange Gorman shoes in leather, which were actually cute, very cute, but I sold those afterwards. A Dolce & Gabbana bag that was like orange, pink, and then grey for some reason, but the grey kind of neutralizes it a bit. A Zimmermann skirt, which is again silk, this whole look is silk. A Zimmermann like mini skirt, which was really cute. I love this blue colour. And then I've got the tote bag from this event on my shoulder. And then this silk like printed top was a local designer who was being promoted at the time through the fashion festival. So I probably just shopped it the day before. Again, silver jewellery. I think I probably even got the apple necklace on. I can't quite tell. But I don't think I wore this much colour again ever. Altogether, like what a wow. That is just a lot. But I'm glad that I sort of half tied my wavy hair tie, my hair back. I still looked alright. It's just not very me. So this is a moment that I would never ever repeat again we're moving on very quickly. At the same time, from that fashion week, I think I've got some much cooler looks that are more like I would wear those again probably. This first one is kind of a blurry picture, but I'm wearing black leather pumps, which were Lamb by Gwen Stefani, a vintage black leather mini skirt, which I think, oh God, I mean, obviously my waist is very different right now while I'm pregnant, but I still have it. And if I fit that again one day, I will be stoked because I loved this skirt. It was very tight in the waist and I'd had it for years at the point. And it was a vintage Mickey Mouse t-shirt, like a baseball style shirt. And because it was baseball style, I then wore the black baseball cap and kind of had my hair. And I think that the black baseball cap thing was trending at the time. And it was like athleisure. So like the bottom half is one thing and then the top half of the outfit is something else. But it was fashion week. You have to kind of go big and get attention. And it might have been my first fashion week here in Perth once I'd moved over. So when I have my Marc Jacobs watch that was like the watch face is like a guitar, and I'd had that for years, and it was like my element of rock and roll adding into there. So we've got like the rock and roll vibe with the leather and then the watch, and then you have this like sporty athleisure vibe too. I don't hate this. I mean, I probably should be embarrassed, but I kind of felt cool. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I should be more cool these days with my style and take a leaf out of this experimental book. All right, we're moving on though. Same fashion week, I wore this beautiful silk dress from Flannel. So it's a Perth-based brand. And this was to a flannel event. I absolutely loved this dress, and I think it was the only time I ever wore it because it was backless and very sheer. And at the time, I had one like set of these like stick-on bra things that were like not reusable, and it was like the perfect thing. And I've never been able to find anything that like is the perfect thing since, that is just like a bra style thing that sticks on, and then you just chuck it. Like it was like a disposable one. But I've always wanted to find the right thing like that again for anything I've got that's sheer that I can just stick on and not have like my nipples showing all the time. But I've never really actually found anything. And because I hadn't found anything for so long, I sold this dress and I hadn't worn it. But it was so beautiful. And Flannel is like a beautiful brand if you're interested in that like bohemian vibe. You know, they do a lot of silk. They do some leather pieces. It's all very flowy. It's very like Chloe, and I know that Chloe's back in, thankfully, again, because it's one of my favorite brands. But yeah, I just loved this look. I don't even know if I carried a bag. I don't have a bag in my hand, but I remember like I didn't have something that went with it. So I think I probably just carried my camera and my keys in my wallet like separately, and I put it down for the photos at the media wall. But yeah, this was a beautiful event and I was really glad to be part of it. And I kind of curled my hair a little bit more. So this is one of my favorite ones. I think there's a picture there of the back. So you can see it was like an open back waterfall sort of style skirt. Oh, I just loved it. So yes, I wish I had this one again. I could repeat that look. That same year, my friend Mon, she worked, I think at the time, in a corporate setting, and she would go into the city and she would see everybody wearing like black and grey and things like that. And she was like, I want to set a challenge to some fashion bloggers, to whoever wants to participate, do like a week of posting outfits where you do not wear a single piece of black, which was a full challenge for me because I paired everything with black and I didn't have a lot of color in my wardrobe. I had selected bits, but it was usually like a pop of color with a neutral outfit. So I was like, you know what, I'll give this challenge a go, which means that I've got some interesting looks, and I really like leaned into it. But this, I mean, I think I look beautiful in this picture. Like, that's a really pretty lighting. I look really nice. So I'm wearing a red tomato colored top from Witchery, and then I've got these beautiful silk Alice McCall micro pleated shorts that were just dreamy. They were so lovely, and I kept them for a long time because they were beautiful. I loved these. the same white heels that I was wearing at the time a lot, and this bag, which I can't remember the designer. What is it? I think it was also Dolce & Gabbana. It was like this clutch leather bag, and it had the silver panel, the fluorescent orange panel, and then the fluorescent yellow panel. Then I even have colorful nails. So this is like me being experimental with fashion for the sake of creating some blog posts, but this is not something that I would normally wear. And yet I look at it and I think it's actually really fun, and I look nice in color, and I should have embraced that more. Yeah, I probably didn't feel very cool. I felt like clownish in this, but it's very pretty. That's just me and my mentality. I think if I had have not had the bag, the rest of the look would have been really pretty. And it's just the extra 3 colors going on in the handbag that put me off. But yeah, that was this challenge. And again, part of that challenge, I have the next look is a white Alice McCall dress, which was beautiful. Again, it had some like embroidery details down the bottom. The skirt was kind of, if you spun around, it like floated up everywhere. It was really pretty. It was a shirt dress that was lined. And then I'm wearing it with a silver, I think, bag strap or something that I turned into a belt. Little silver shoes with some flowers on them and a silver clutch bag. And yeah, I thought this was really pretty. Yeah, it's a really pretty look. I think my friend went with me and took some pictures while we had a cafe date. And yeah, I think this is just really lovely. And I wish that I still had the dress. It's a really nice dress. I think a white dress is obviously something that, you know, the styles will change and the cut will change, but keeping something like that in your wardrobe is like a wise idea. And I like my messy hair. Same Fashion Week. We're just delving into these because Fashion Week in this time is just a good excuse for me to show some of the more extreme looks. Not my everyday looks, but maybe like an event look, or else that Fashion Week you really want to kind of go big or go home kind of thing. I bought this skirt from this local designer, Betty Tran, and it was like, I don't know what possessed me to be like, yeah, I saw it on the runway and I was like, I'm going to go buy it straight away from her boutique, because it was like quite pricey for what it was. I don't know, it was some sort of crepe fabric, and it was an asymmetrical thing. It was so beautiful and I loved the color, but I don't think I actually ended up wearing it anywhere except to take pictures, or maybe once to Fashion Week. So it was kind of like, why did I spend so much money on what it was? And then I've got a white silk cami top underneath, and then this necklace, which is another designer that was being promoted through the Fashion Week at the time, Catherine Dunmill. She was lovely, lovely girl. I never see her anymore, so I'm sure she's gone back into working in the corporate field, which was her background. But she made these stunning, like handcrafted leather goods. Some of them had embroidery, and these collar neck pieces I was so into, because I loved the idea of doing something really different with my plain outfits, like my plain t-shirts, or in this case cami tops. And this one kind of had like what looked like leather, like not feathers but like leaves, and they were sort of all sewn together, and then there were some beads in there, and it was beautiful. And it kind of just did up at the back as like a separate collar thing, and it was a really cool statement piece. I don't have it anymore. I obviously sold all of those pieces, but I think that at the time I could keep the rest of my looks fairly plain, and I felt like I was doing something a bit different. But again, now looking back, does kind of remind me of like Moira from Schitt's Creek. It was that kind of era and that kind of vibe. It was beautiful, but yeah, a bit different, very fashiony. And I wore it a lot, just to kind of make the most out of like spending the money on this leather item. The quality was amazing too. Then we have, I love this look so much. It was the yellow scuba neoprene skirt from Josh Goot. Again, silk cami top and my vintage leather biker jacket. And then the black pumps. Like, I love this. And this is the only time I've shot photos at Boat Shed and Crawley Edge there which is an iconic spot in Perth. People take their photos there all the time. But a friend came along with me one afternoon and we shot this. And it was right before I was like leaving Perth as well. So it felt like a goodbye to Fashion Week, goodbye to Perth for a bit. We wanted to do something like at an iconic location. I would never shoot there again because it's so like random and it's more for tourists. But yeah, I love this look. That was definitely a yes for me. I don't think I'd wear the skirt again, but I'm kind of sad that I don't have it because it's very, very cool and it's like the perfect yellow. And from the same collection, I got the Josh Goot neoprene pink, like camisole type top. Again, neoprene, so it's quite boxy. And the pink was really beautiful. I wish I'd shot this without the leather collar because this does not look great. I mean, it looked good for at the time and I was obviously trying to do statement. But this next look is just a lot. The shoes. Oh, the shoes. I think the cage style heels, which I can't remember what designer it was. Solsana or Tony Bianco or something like that. And then I've got a suede clutch bag from ASOS. And then ASOS paper bag style jeans. It's just the wrong proportions. This one is a big no for me. Oh my God. Like, see what I mean though, where I wore like a pop of color and then the rest were neutrals. But I was so desperate to do something interesting with each piece to create a statement that, yeah, this is just like, oh, my eyes are just sore from looking at this. This is one of the worst so far, I'd say. I don't love this at all. I don't love it. Whereas in the next look, I'm wearing a Josh Goot leather and suede dress. Suede and wool black dress, which I still have, and it is phenomenal. I love this dress so much. This was an event, a lunch event with Josh Goot. He now does like Wardrobe NYC. Shame that he closed his label down because I loved it. This was a presentation of his like current collection at the time, and I wore this black dress. And I did get photos with him while I was wearing this. And yeah, I don't know. I love those images because he's like so serious in them, and I'm like half smiling, and it felt like such a fashion moment because I just loved him so much. I by that point bought so much Josh Goot. He's a genius. He's such a brilliant designer. Another one I still have, this Equipment silk dress. And this, I think, was one of the first photo shoots I ever did with Mario, my partner. It was like sunset on top of a car park at Claremont. And I loved the long, messy hair, this beautiful khaki silk shirt dress from Equipment. It felt very French. This is another yes for me. Like, I love this. I still wear it. I don't have these cage heels anymore. I think they might have been ASOS. But they were really cool. I loved wearing those at the time. They're very high, and I think I since have transitioned out of wearing high heels. But yeah, my rock and roll, like Marc Jacobs watch is on there too. But yeah, I just love this. And then from the same shoot, I still have this dress. This one is a Lover black, white, and grey printed dress. The collar is not quite the vibe. These little Peter Pan collars were really big at the time. But I still love this dress. It's just the way it's fitted is really beautiful. And then the cap sleeve and then the floaty sort of frilly skirt. Really loved this one. And yeah, that was a really cute look. And then another look I shot with Mario. The black cap is back. It's the athleisure thing. I've got my black cap with the same sunglasses I wore with everything. This beautiful silk Josh Goot dress, which, oh, I wish I had this. I actually have a couple of pieces in my wardrobe that are like black with bright orange that are like silk. And I've got one actually in a sale at the moment here in Perth. I've done a consignment sale. And as I was putting it in there, I was like, do I get rid of this? Because I still really like it. It's just not something I've worn. And then I have a Venroy dress that I got this year. It's black with the orange print as well. I just love those. Like, it's exactly this. I don't know what it is. Like, I would never normally wear orange, but for some reason, black silk things with an orange pop, I've been really attracted to. I've got my black leather vintage motorcycle jacket tucked around my waist there for some of these photos. And then my Chloe boots. This was probably right after I bought my Chloe boots, which I've since worn all the time. I still wear them all the time. I love them. We're still doing a yes for that one. The cap could be take it or leave it, but anyway. All right, another fashion event for Fashion Week. This is a beautiful Josh Goot skirt, which I still have. It's not really like the style that I would wear now, but I've kept it because I really like it. And then it's a simple striped t-shirt, which if I had have just had those two pieces, probably with a different shoe, but I was really into the boots at the time. And if you look closely, I've rolled my ankle at a party, and for like probably 2 months after I did that, my ankle was like not good at all. So I had to have it strapped all the time. So I wore the ankle boots just to kind of hide the strap a bit. So that's kind of what's going on here. But then to tie back in with the gold studs on the boots, I wore one of the Catherine Dunmill collars, which was embroidered with gold detail. It like created a look out of something that would have otherwise been pretty plain, just the striped t-shirt and the skirt. That would probably look kind of corporate or casual, because it was all made of like jersey t-shirt fabric. But I guess I have elevated it with the collar and the boots. But no, I would not wear this again. Stripes, yes. Skirt, not right now, but maybe one day. But no, not together. And the boots, yes, but not this all together. So that's a no. I love these photos so much. This look is so fun. I've got my big wavy messy hair still. I've got some reflective glasses that were probably not even mine. I probably borrowed them from a friend when I was shooting this. We were having a high tea at her house, and there were like all my fashion friends, and I was like, let's do some fun photos. So I borrowed her like pink vintage bike, and it had flat tires. So this thing did not ride whatsoever. I'm totally posing with it out the front of her house. So it's like such a suburban street feel. And I'm wearing my big black high heels as well. And then I'm wearing the black leather jacket and this beautiful Zimmermann silk dress, which I've sold. And it's kind of got this coffee splatter print over it. And I love this so much. I feel like these are still some of my favorite photos. Mario still has one of these. I think the first one where I'm smiling on the back. He has that as his like wallpaper on his phone. And I felt like this is just so me. Like it was just this mix of like urban and cool and fun and a bit rock and roll and playful. And I remember Haim were out at the time, and I was listening to their first album all the time, and I was just like, this is a vibe. I feel a bit like Danny Elheim. And yeah, I love this still. Like if someone wanted me to like share like a profile picture of that era of my life and like going to fashion events, going to Fashion Week and stuff, like these would be one of the ones I'd be like, yeah, this is where I was at. Oh dear. The next one, oh my God, I love this dress. I think I'm going to round this series up because it's all kind of encapsulating a few years soon, and then I'll share what's happening after that in a separate bit. This dress, I still have it. It's a lace lover dress, and I still wish that I'd gotten this dress in the red or the cream, and I've seen it being sold online, and although I'm pregnant and I know I won't fit it for a while, I'm pretty tempted to order it anyway because I just loved this dress so much. I wore it to opening night of a big festival that I did, an arts festival, and I remember walking in with whatever guy was walking me in, and like on the red carpet I felt like so glamorous in this. And I've since worn it to other things, and it just felt like sexy and glamorous. And it has a slip underneath, which I cut too short, like it was too long, and I just pulled it on before the opening night, and my friend just literally cut the hem of it, and she cut it just like a tiny bit too short, so it's always been like a little bit risque because it just covers my underwear. But this skirt is amazing. I mean, like the skirt part is like, it's all just lace, it's asymmetrical hem. I feel like ethereal in it. I was wearing this with these shoes from Windsor Smith or something that were like a copy of another brand that were beautiful suede, and they were such a vibe, like the whole lace up look. I just dyed my hair darker, but it was still so like voluminous and full, and it just felt like very cool. I love this dress so much. And yeah, this is one of my favorite looks I've ever worn. And I still have the dress, and I've worn it on any occasion that I can, because I just feel amazing in this. It's probably like one of the pieces in my lifetime that I've felt the most incredible in. And sadly, Lover, the brand, was like the label was sold to the Iconic as one of their signature like in-brand labels, and it is not the same. This White Magic collection was perfect, and I had quite a few pieces from it, but this was my favorite. And yeah, it was amazing. But if you've watched this far, I'm sure it's probably my longest video ever. I would be very curious to hear which outfits you hated, which outfits you liked, which ones you loved. Please let me know in the comments below if you think that I looked ridiculous in any of them. I won't be offended. This is really fun. So please like roast away or rate away if you really liked anything. I'm curious to hear, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one for the next half.